Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this Thursday, a little bit different from usually when we have our webinars on Wednesday. Thank you, though, for being a part of this, and welcome to this educational presentation where today I want to talk to you about the art of pullback trading. Now, pullback trading really is an art. A lot of people try to trade pullbacks, but they have a very difficult time because there are certain phases to trading pullback. So let's just go over what these three pullback phases are, okay? Phase one is obviously you want to find and identify the beginning of a trend. And this is the simplest phase of all because it's easy to see when you're going straight up or you're going straight down. But then we get into this scenario where it appears as if it's the end of a trend. And this is where traders have difficulty. Someone in that chat room or on TV says it's over. It's time to sell your position to get out. And perhaps if you're even a more experienced or aggressive trader, you'll actually like to short whatever you've been trading that's been going up. But the trouble is, oftentimes it can be an end of a trend, but many times it's also just a pullback. Now, if you have the correct requirements and you know how to study the markets, you'll realize that this is actually a buying opportunity. And pullback traders like to buy somewhere around these lower levels because they know that once the pullback is over, phase three begins and the resumption of the trend is back in the original direction. So this is what we're going to be talking about today. The trouble is that most traders don't know these three pullback phases, and they have a very difficult time trading pullbacks because oftentimes they'll buy when it actually is the beginning of a downtrend, or they'll sell when it's the beginning of an uptrend. So it leads traders to ask if there actually is some type of specifically designed strategy to identify these high probability pullback entries in these high probability pullback zones. So the good news is, yes, there is. In fact, this strategy, what we'll be talking about today, is on our platform, and it actually auto-identifies pullback strategy setups. This is on the PTS Primo charting platform that I developed with Pro Trader Strategies. So this promises to be a very great educational presentation today. So welcome once again. My name is Stephen Primo. I am the president and founder of Specialist Trading. I've been trading now for 47 years. I started my career on the floor of the Pacific Stock Exchange. I was on the floor for 16 years, and 9 of those years I was a specialist. That's where we get the name Specialist Trading. If you're not familiar with what a specialist does, if you ever Google those pictures of the traders on the floor, the ones that were making those weird hand signals that were behind those large wooden podiums, those were specialists. They made markets in roughly about 50 or 60 stocks, and that's what I did. I made markets during the crash of 1987, made markets in stocks like IBM, Waste Management, US Air, and I traded through the bull market that followed after that. After I left the floor in the mid-90s, I pursued my own trading. Also, I managed money as well as taught. And about 15 years ago, I teamed up with Pro Trader Strategies, where we developed specialist trading with one goal in mind, and that was simply just to educate traders. What we feel is missing from most traders' trading plans is not the perfect technique or the right market or time frame. It's sound fundamental education. And that's what we provide. That's the service we provide. And you'll see that education in today's presentation. So before we begin today's class, we are required to share this with you. So please take a moment to view our disclaimer. I'm going to show you a lot of performance results using this pullback method, but please remember that we can in no way guarantee that any of the results I'm about to share with you will be repeated in the future. Also, since we are an educational company, all examples are strictly for educational purposes only. Now, a lot of students have asked us for more education on a daily basis instead of waiting each week for these webinars. So we invite each and every one of you to follow us on Twitter or X, however you'd like to name it. I post upwards of 5 to 7 or 8 different snapshots a day of signals that our methods have generated. Also explain a little bit about them. Lots of great free information on a daily basis. So please feel free to follow us on Twitter. There's our handle right there. Now, remember, as I stated in the opening statements, we are first and foremost an educational company. This means that if you've come here today thinking, I'm going to tell you what I think of the markets, are they going to go straight up or straight down, or what the best stock is to buy, or the best market is to sell, what I think about crypto, you've come to the wrong place. Because remember, an educator doesn't really do those things for you. Think about any endeavor, something you'd like to learn, a hobby or something. Let's say you wanted to learn how to play golf. Okay, so you get a trainer, you get someone to teach you how to do that. But then when you wanted to play golf, that mentor, that teacher is not going to play golf for you. You're going to have to do it on your own. But for some example, for some reason, a perfect example is when traders trade, they will take their signals from someone else or something else. They won't actually trade for themselves. They'll go to a signal service or go to that chat room or wait to hear what that guy says after the market closes on TV to find out what they should do. Now, that's a really poor way to trade, in my opinion. That's the reason why most traders fail, upwards of 85%, because you're taking yourself out of the game. And what's missing from your trading is sound fundamental education to give you the confidence not to follow an outside source, but to make your own trading decisions. So that's the service we provide. And that's what my goal is. Not to trade for you, not to send you to a trading room or not to give you a nightly signal service, but to teach you how to trade with the specialist edge so that you can make your own trading decisions. This is the same way I was taught by my mentors. These were specialists on the trading floor some 47 years ago, and what has sustained me now for nearly 5 decades. So hopefully my education can do the same for you. Okay. With that said, just a few announcements before we begin. First of all, we have a good-sized crowd here today on this Thursday, so I want you to ask me as many questions as possible, but please wait till the end to ask questions. I know a lot of webinars, they take the questions during the class. I like to take mine at the very end. So if you have a question, write it down or try to remember it. I promise I will get to it at the very end. Also, this is being recorded, so if you have to leave early or if you're having technical issues, don't worry. Each and every one of you will be sent a link to this recording, okay? So you can watch it over and over again at your own leisure. Okay, with that stated, let's begin today's educational class. And we're going to be talking about our premier pullback method, our premier pullback strategy number 9, okay? Let's go over some of the highlights of this particular method. It's a buy low, sell high pullback strategy. That means when the overall trend is up, we're looking to buy at the lower levels of the overall uptrend. But when the overall downtrend is down, in a downtrend, we're looking to sell at the higher levels or the bounces within that downtrend. It's a proprietary indicator-based method, okay? So this is what it's based on. It's a proprietary. We're keeping the rules in-house. Now, the good news about strategy 9 is that you can apply it to any market, any time frame, and any direction. Another advantage to trading strategy number 9 is that you can apply it to option trading. So what does this mean? Well, because you're going to be buying at lower levels, you can purchase these less expensive contracts, and because the premiums will be lower. Same thing if you're buying or if you're selling. If you're buying puts, the premiums will be lower because the market will be rising, going away from the direction you want, okay? Now, with all our strategies, we always advise our students, in fact, we require them to first paper trade because there's so much they can learn from that process. So paper trading is a requirement with all of our courses. Our edge here at Specialist Trading is not promising the world like so many other webinars do, where they say, oh, you'll be able to retire in a year if you trade this system. I would never promise that. But I can promise that our edge is consistency, meaning that our methods are extremely consistent, whereas they will have losses from time to time. That's okay. But a consistent method is one that's able to recoup the loss sooner than later. And strategy number 9 is an extremely consistent trading method. So strategy number 9 employs 2 simple indicators, all right? Their relationship to the price automatically produces the signals. Okay, now, trust me, if we made the rules available, you would spend probably half your day figuring them out, the relationship and the calculations that you have to go through. So that's why we've kept it a proprietary process. The secret in strategy number 9 is knowing how to apply it and knowing what the best setups are. Therefore, in an overall uptrend, the buy signals will be generated during a decline. And in an overall downtrend, the sell signals will be generated during a rally. So let's look at some current strategy number 9 examples and show you the process you would go through if you're a strategy number 9 student of mine and how simple it is to apply. And remember, everything is auto-generated on the PTS Primo charting platform. This is the platform that auto-identifies these pullback strategy setups. Okay, so let's look at some buy examples first, all right? Okay, we're looking at this chart. This is a fairly recent chart of ATI. This was in April last month. So the market has been steadily rising. So we identify this as phase 1. Remember those 3 phases about the pullbacks that I shared with you early. Now, as what happens so many times is that the trend reverses. This is where traders have trouble. They say to themselves, well, that guy on TV says you should sell this because it's going to come much lower. He doesn't like the market, and it's time to get out of your position. But what strategy number 9 does is identifies this as phase 2. And we know that phase 2 is a buying opportunity. If the original phase 1 was an uptrend, we know that this is just a counter trend. This is a buying opportunity. So now what we want to do is come up to our platform, and on the green strategy tab, click on strategy number 9, since we know we're in phase 2. Click on signal arrow, and we'll see if there was a buy signal that was generated. And yes, there were actually 2 right here at the very low of phase 2. Now, if this doesn't work out, obviously it's going to go lower, and we teach you in the course where to place your stop. If you want a high risk stop or a low risk stop, we have upwards of 6 or 7 different stop placements for you to decide from. Remember, our job is to provide you with this. But if it did work out, well, phase 3 should begin, and it should begin its upward course. And look what happened. In the next week, it did go back up, and that was a quick 12 points you could have captured within the next week. See how simple that was? But most traders do the opposite. They'll think it's rolling over, it's the beginning of a downtrend, and they'll sell or go short or exit their position. And then they look back and say, why didn't I hold on, right? That look familiar to anybody? Here's another example, okay? Doesn't look like much is happening, like we're going sideways, right? But initially, this was phase 1, the uptrend. Now, this sideways motion, even though we didn't go down or counter trend that much, strategy number 9 generated this as phase 2, even though we're kind of going sideways. So now that we're in phase 2, you simply click on strategy number 9. In the drop-down menu, click on signal arrow. And right here, we see there was a buy signal, right, at the very end of that phase so far. Now, once again, you would know where to place your stop, you would know how to enter, and you know several ways in which to exit. But look what happened right after that. In one day, the stock gapped up 18 points. See how simple this was just by using strategy number 9. Now, here's phase 2, the pullback, as we look at the stock WIRE, okay? Now, this was obviously phase 1. The pullback is always going to be phase 2. So this is where we want to see if there are any buy setups. So we click on strategy number 9 once again. In the drop-down menu, we'll see if there are buy signals. And guess what? There were 3 right in a row. We call this a cluster of buy signals, high probability setups. And look what happened. In one day, the stock gapped up 38 points, or 3 days, I should say. So this is how simple it is with strategy number 9. We do all the hard work for you. We identify phase 1 and phase 2. In phase 2, we know that that's where the buy setups are going to be generated. And then it's simply up to you to decide whether you want to take the trade or not. Because remember, it's your decision. We're providing you with this expertise, but it's up to you to decide how and when you want to trade. All right, let's look at this weekly chart, because it makes no difference if we're looking at daily charts, hourly charts, or even weekly charts. All right. So what did strategy number 9 generate here? Well, it says that this is phase number 1 and phase number 2 is this sell-off right here. Well, if this is the sell-off, it's a buying opportunity, not a selling opportunity. So we see that there were 2 buy signals right at the low of that sell-off. And look what happened. In phase 3, on this weekly chart, you could have potentially captured 70 points. Now, look what happens after this. It sells off again. So is that the end of the trend? Well, according to strategy number 9, it recalculates again. And actually, phase 3 now turns into phase 1. And this is another phase 2. So now we have another set of buying opportunities. And we have 2 buy signals right here towards the lows. And phase 3 continues, and we could have potentially captured upwards of 105 points. It's simple when you know where you are in the market. And remember, strategy number 9 takes all the hard work out of it for you. Now, if you trade currency pairs, here's a phase 2 pullback of the Canadian dollar. These are daily charts, okay? So during this entire time, you could have been clicking on strategy number 9 to see where buy signal was. Well, one wasn't generated until right here at the very bottom. And look what happened. In one day, you could have potentially captured 125 pips. That's over $1,000 per unit. Or what about NVIDIA? We've all seen that NVIDIA has been in the news, been going straight up. It's been the darling of the market for the last year, right? Well, obviously, this is phase 1. If we look at this, it's going straight up, right? It's a straight uptrend, even though a lot of traders were saying, well, Steve, there's major resistance here. And look what happened. It did pull back, and actually it did sell off. But remember, strategy number 9 doesn't look at outside sources of what some guy on TV is saying or what someone's saying according to the economic indicators. Basically, it says this is phase 1. This sell-off was phase 2. So that's where we want to look for buying opportunities for a buy signal. And strategy number 9 generated one right here. And look what happened. Gapped up the next day and continued to go higher, where potentially you could have captured 250 points. This is why we say this is such a great tool for option traders. Now, we realize this is an expensive $700 stock, but you could have bought some calls right here on the buy signal, or some spread strategy where you could have had a bias to the upside with a spread. Lots of different ways to trade it. You're in control. Our job is simply to provide you with these high probability setups and signals. All right, now we can apply this to sell setups as well. So let's look at some sell examples. Here we're looking at Apple, okay? This is Apple coming into April. Okay, so Apple's been coming lower, and all of a sudden we know that we're in phase 1 because the downtrend is heading lower. But look what happened here. Now, most traders said, that's it. Apple's bottomed out. Time to go and buy here. And that's why the stock jumped up for a couple of days, because they figured, okay, we've bottomed out. Now it's time to go long. But what did strategy number 9 do? It says that this is just phase 2, and this is a selling opportunity. So if it's a selling opportunity, we click on strategy number 9 while we're in phase 2, click on signal arrow, and we see that where everyone else was buying, a sell signal was generated right here. And look what happened. Phase 3 kicked in, and you could have quickly captured 12 points in the next week, okay? This is why, once again, why traders fail, because you're out of sync with what the market wants to do. The good news is we identify these phases for you, and we provide you with the setups. Let's look at Boeing, all right? Someone could have said, hey, Steve, there's major support here. I know there's been a lot of bad news this past year with Boeing, but guess what? It's starting to go back up. I think I'm going to buy it. That guy in that chat room really likes it, okay? Once again, you're taking your cue from an outside source. But you could have said, Steve, it's a bullish engulfing pattern. I'm a candlestick trader, and that's an extremely bullish sign. It's telling me that a new trend is beginning to the upside, okay? Well, what is strategy number 9 telling us? It's telling us that this is phase 2 and that we should look for selling opportunities, not buying opportunities, because yes, it is bouncing, but those are selling opportunities. So once you click on, you see that there was a number of selling opportunities. These are what we call cluster setups. And look what happened with Boeing. Phase 3 kicked in, and you could have potentially captured 30 points coming into the end of April last month, okay? Here's another example in WDAY workday. Here's the pullback, or phase 2, where most people think it's the beginning of a rally. We know it's a selling opportunity. Click on strategy number 9. We see that the sell signal was right at the top of that rally. And look what happened. 35 points coming into this month in May. Here's another example in LRCX, all right? Here's phase 2. Phase 2 is the bounce, where most people think we're starting to go up, and a sell signal was generated right at the high of that bounce. And in 2 days, you could have potentially captured 65 points. Once again, an expensive $900 stock, but who's to say you couldn't have purchased some really inexpensive puts? So there's lots of ways to trade even the expensive issues. Let's look at a 4-hour chart of the British pound, all right? It appears that we have a double bottom in play, right? We have this low here, but followed by another low. So many traders would say, hey, Steve, this is a really great sign. When a currency pair makes a double bottom, it's going to go back up. All right. Once again, why most traders fail, you're not really listening to the market. What is the market telling you? It's telling you that that was in phase 1, and now this bounce is only phase 2. It's a selling opportunity if you're in phase 2. And strategy number 9 generated a sell signal right here at the top of that bounce. And look what happened. In the next few days, because this is a 4-hour chart, you could have potentially captured over 160 pips. That's over $1,600 per unit. Now, let's see what happened later on in this trade. Well, now it did bounce up, okay? So is this the beginning of a new uptrend? Well, let's see. Now it's the downtrend, right? So now we should get out, because we had a really nice run up here. Probably going to come up all the way down back here, right? Well, according to strategy number 9, this is just simply phase 1. and this is phase two. So this is a buying opportunity now. So we simply switch gears, and we see here that we had another cluster of buy signals on these last 4-hour charts, and you could have potentially captured 80 pips in the next couple of days with phase three kicking in. Let's look at a monthly chart. All right, we looked at daily stock charts. We looked at a 4-hour chart of the British pound. Now we're looking at a monthly chart of Charter. Hard to tell what's going on here. It kind of looks like it's going lower, but maybe it's stabilized. Who knows? But actually, it starts to bounce. So maybe it's the beginning of an uptrend, right? Not really, because if we think it's an uptrend, we're missing the phases. Phase one was the downtrend. Phase two is the counter trend. It's the pullback. We want to be taking advantage of the opposite direction during a pullback. So if phase two is buying, or rallying, I should say, we want to be a seller and look for selling opportunities. Even though this is a monthly chart, it doesn't matter. The same process applies. So look what happened. We click on strategy number 9. In the drop-down menu, click on signal arrow. And there we have a sell signal. So where everyone thought we were starting to rally, it was going to be a long-term investment in Charter, look what happened. The stock fell 200 points coming into this year. So it makes no difference what market, what time frame, or what direction. Strategy number 9 is an extremely, extremely consistent pullback trading method. So this is the art of pullback trading. Figuring out these 3 phases. Phase 1, the initial rally. Phase 2, the pullback. And phase 3, the resumption of rally. So let's review. Let's look at that generic chart again. Remember, you want to always look for the beginning of a trend. Then you want to identify whether it's the beginning of a really new trend in a different direction, or if it's simply a pullback. Strategy number 9 can identify it, whether it's the beginning of a new trend to the downside, or if it's a pullback. If it is a pullback, it's a buying opportunity, and you wait for the resumption of trend. That's where you make the profits, if it works out. If you're a seller, you just switch this pullback phase chart upside down, and you take advantage of the bounces to go short. Now, strategy number 9 is perfectly suited to identify these buy low, sell high setups. It's a proprietary indicator-based method that can be applied to any market, as you just saw, any time frame, as you just saw, in any direction. It makes it ideal for option trading because you're buying at these lower levels, the premiums will be much lower to buy calls, or if you're selling at these higher levels, the premiums will be much less to buy puts, or you can use them in some type of spread strategy. Please, if you decide to become a student of mine, you have to paper trade first. We just don't want our students to jump in feet first. This strategy is extremely consistent, but remember, consistency means an awareness of losses. That's okay. It's okay to lose every once in a while. You want a method that's able to recoup that loss and then continue to progress. And that's what all of our methods are, especially strategy number 9. Now ask yourself, do you think pullback strategy number 9 can help you trading for the remainder of 2024? If you've struggled with pullback trading, this is a great, great strategy to get your pullback trading back on track, especially for the remainder of this year. Because of that, we have a great special attendee offer for all of you taking time out of your day to watch this presentation. This is going to be our special powerful pullback trading promotion. Okay, you're going to get strategy number 9, the detailed video course instruction. You'll learn all the different ways to enter, to exit, and to place your stop using strategy number 9. The complete course rules that you can apply to any market in any time frame. But remember, everything you just saw today was displayed coming from our platform, the PTS Primo Charting platform. So because of that, we're throwing in an extra bonus. If you want to see everything as simple as you just saw today with one-click access, become a student of the strategy number 9 course, and we'll throw in a full year free. You're going to be saving close to $1,800. That's a 35% discount off the price. This is a great, great way to become acquainted with us and to start using our platform, which actually has a number of advantages, including strategy number 9. Not only will you get the one-click access to all the strategy number 9 setups, but you'll also get other features that I've accumulated in my nearly 50 years of trading, many things that you won't find on any other platform, some of the big name platforms, because they're things that I've accumulated and taken from my years on the trading floor. Things like the enhanced buy-sell line, things like our signal scanner, our strength of trend tool, all auto-generated Excel levels. But here's the best thing. It really identifies these three phases of strategy number 9 because it's a proprietary indicator, but we make it so simple for you to scan on a nightly basis. Now, I know a lot of you are saying, well, Steve, you just kind of gave it all away, so why should I purchase the strategy number 9 course? Because let's look at this chart here in Apple. It's not very difficult to figure out what the phases are. Okay, there's phase 1. We were bouncing up, right, rallying. And then phase 2 kicked in, the sell-off. Now, it's easy to see that phase 3 is just about to begin, so I want to buy this, right? I don't really need strategy number 9 to tell me, so I kind of have it figured out. This is what a lot of our students say to themselves. And then lo and behold, they buy, and then this is what happens, right? Okay, so what happened to the 3 phases? Well, obviously, you're not in sync with the 3 phases. You're totally out of sync because if you had the platform and had the course, here's all you would have had to do. Click on strategy number 9, click on signal arrow, and you would have seen that, yes, there was a setup, but you were off. This was the actual number 2 phase. This was the pullback. And a sell signal, strategy number 9 sell signal was generated right at the top. And instead of buying, you could have potentially captured 20 points while phase 3 was in place. So this is why you need to become a student of this course. In fact, many of our students have told us, they've quoted us, and that's why we put it in this presentation. A year from today, you will have wished you became a member of the strategy number 9 course. There's so much information. It's such a consistent method, and we really feel it can help you, okay? So take your trading to the next level, become a student of mine. Here's how you do it. Here's our next level pullback trading special. And normally, if we didn't have this special going, strategy number 9 would roughly cost over $4,700. And that's with the full year as well, okay? But here's what we're going to do. Discount sign up of $29.95, okay? You're going to save $17.40. That's a 35% discount. And remember, if that's still too expensive for you to come up with, we totally understand $29.95. You can still establish a payment plan. So for a fraction of $29.95, you can be up and running as early as today and establish a payment plan with Pro Trader Strategies, and you can still become a student of mine. Once again, you can have the platform and all the rules to strategy number 9 as early as today, but you have to take advantage of this great offer, okay? Here's how to do it. Contact my sister site, Pro Trader Strategies. They're in charge of all the tech support. They're in charge of all the pricing and all the discounts. I would highly recommend giving them a call right now at 310-598-6677. They have trading consultants. They would be more than happy either to take your order over the phone, establish a payment plan with you, or just give you a quote. There's no obligation. They can give you a quote and you can think about it. But remember, that payment plan would be a fraction of the $29.95 cost. You wouldn't have to come up with that. It would be a very small amount, and all you have to do is establish a payment plan. You could be up and running as early as today. Now, that link you see at the very bottom has been posted on the chat box. So if you go to that chat box, just click on that link. It's the info page, and if you want, you can actually sign up there as well, okay? Now, I've left all this information up here for you to copy, the phone number or the link. If you have any questions, now's the time. Just go to the chat box or go to the question and answer box, whichever you prefer, and I will answer all your questions now, okay? Someone's asking, can this work on intraday E-mini trading? Yes, it can. In fact, I use it. That's my main market of choice. I like to trade the E-mini futures, and I use it a lot when there's a really nice market and all the rules come into play. You'll see these setups the exact same way. There's nothing different you have to do. All you have to do is click on strategy number 9, and we'll show you where these buy setups are. But remember, you can't do that unless you have the platform. So that's the beauty of the platform. But yes, I can trade it there. We have a lot of students that trade for crypto. We also have a lot of forex or currency pair traders. So yes, you can trade it on multiple markets as well. All right. Do you also point out which options to buy or sell? No, we are not an options course per se. In other words, our job as a mentor is simply to provide you with this information. In other words, let's say I was teaching you once again that scenario of how to play golf, all right? I can teach you how to play golf and I can show you what works best for you. But ultimately, when you want to play on your own, you have to buy your own clubs, right? And you have to, decide for yourself how you want to implement your game, how you want to apply your game. Well, that's up to you. You can either purchase the stock, you can trade options. There's many different ways in which to do it. You can buy futures contracts. It's entirely up to you. Our job as a mentor is just to provide you with the information, and then you take it from there, okay? So it is perfect for option timing, for option trading, but how you decide to do it is entirely up to you. Good questions. Any more questions while we have here? How long is this offer lasting? Well, normally the offers last just about a week or so, up until about the weekend or maybe the first few days of the next week, because next week I will be giving another presentation about an entirely different method that we're teaching that trades the market entirely differently. So there will be a new webinar and a new special for that. So I would say roughly about a week. So you're going to be getting this video. You can watch it at your leisure. You can watch it over the weekend. But if you're really serious about becoming a student of mine in strategy number 9, watch this and then contact Pro Trader Strategies. They can establish that payment plan for a really small amount of money, and you can be up and running really quickly. And remember, if you want to be up and running today, you can be up and running today and have the platform uploaded on your computer. We have a great tech support department, and they can do it with your computer really quickly, all right? And you'll get all the source material, and you can be studying how to trade strategy number 9 right away. Okay, if there are no further questions, this brings us to the end of our presentation. Remember, even if you just have any questions, call Pro Trader Strategies at 310-598-6677. There are absolutely no obligations at all. You can just ask questions. They can give you a quote on a payment plan. They're very flexible, and they'll be happy to work with you. As we take one last look at our disclaimer, I just want to say thank you once again for taking time out of your Wednesday. I know you're probably busy or you'd rather be trading, but I really wanted to teach you this whole process about pullback trading, and there really is an art to it. I hope you understand it now. And more importantly, I look forward to all of you becoming students of mine in the strategy number 9 course. Thank you so much for attending. I hope to see you in class. Bye-bye.